Everyone, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Kurt on Cougs. I guess we're going to call this, a weekend review. Sorry I didn't get the post game out on Saturday. Legitimately, I was not trying to avoid talking about the loss. Still going to be talking about it here today. I was just traveling and stuff, so yeah, it didn't work out then, but we're going to talk about it now. I was overall, of course, disappointed to lose that game. Game BYU came close in, but ultimately I feel like a few factors were, for one thing, BYU got dominated in the line of scrimmage on both sides in that first half and somewhat in the second half. And ultimately, turnover margin, ASU forces 2 BYU turnovers, along with the onside recovery to BYU's 1. And so, ultimately, those are some factors that went into it. Overall, not very encouraged by the way the first half went. It was good, though, to see the way the team came out, played very well in the second half. And I feel like that's the momentum. Hopefully they can carry forward into this Houston game on Saturday. That would be good to see. And so, overall, definitely disappointed with the loss. Definitely hurt BYU's chances for making it to the Big 12 title game. But on the other hand, I feel like BYU is in a very good position still to make that title game. I'll get to that a little more later. Just looking at this game, takeaways from the ASU side of things. ASU's legit. They're a really good team. Cam Scadaboo, so tough to tackle. Of course, there were lots of, sloppy tackles by BYU players he broke, but there was also just really good tackles that he was just getting through. They'd have him wrapped up and would still get an extra 2-3 yards. He's a special talent. And so, definitely a tough guy to play against. And so, And of course, looking forward, though, BYU still with a chance to make the title game, potentially even a rematch with ASU. Personally, that's a matchup I would be really excited to see. Because in this game, BYU is one play away from winning the game. Ultimately, there's a few different plays you could point at. If Jake doesn't throw the pick late, probably the big one is if he doesn't overthrow JoJo Phillips towards the end. The onside kick in the first half, even, I guess you could argue, or I personally feel like the tipped interception earlier was also a big momentum play. So, or the Hail Mary, if it just a couple yards deeper, maybe we're talking about a BYU victory. Ultimately, though, you don't get the win. Moving forward, of course, though, still, this has been an amazing season for BYU. 9-2, still have a shot at the Big 12 title game. And just either way, after coming to the year, projected to go 4-5. This is pretty impressive. Pretty happy with it. And, looking around BYU athletics, on Saturday, BYU men's basketball won by 34 against Mississippi Valley State, so another solid win. So far, they played pretty easy competition. This week, it ramps up significantly as they will play number 23 Ole Miss on Thanksgiving, and then later in the week, they will take on either, I believe, number 13 Purdue or NC State. So either way, some big games this week, some big opportunities. And excited to see how it goes. Jaeger Demon playing well, Cannon Catchings, Foose, the whole lot of them. Hopefully you get Kibakita back from injury. Don't know if I pronounced that right. I think that's going to be exciting to see. BYU women's basketball coming off a disappointing OT loss on Saturday to North Colorado. But they move right on this week, playing in, I don't remember the exact name, but it's something like the Cancun Invitational. And they are playing against Rice and then against number 22 Iowa. So some chances for some good wins there as well for them. And BYU women's volleyball for the first time in a while has dropped out of the top 25. So definitely a little disappointment there. That's probably mostly due to losing that 5-set match against Cincinnati last week. But this week they have some big chances ahead of them. They play at number 11 Kansas and then at Kansas State afterwards. So a little road trip to Kansas. Excited to see what happens there. I still think the team's in a pretty good spot to make the tournament. And so, it'll be exciting to see what happens there. And, of course, we'll talk about that more later in the week. And so, yeah, and then of course the thing I probably wanted to talk about the most is BYU men's and women cross country winning national championships. For one thing, I think I saw they're the 5th school ever to do so, and first time this has happened since 2004. So truly a special accomplishment, in my opinion. Greatest accomplishment all time in BYU athletics. For one thing, there aren't that many championships, but getting to it in the same day, that's really impressive. That's really amazing. And also just seeing what both teams, had to go through to get there. The men's team taking on a seeming giant in Oklahoma State, and the women's team came in, one of their best runners, Jenna Hutchins, out with an injury. And so very impressed with how the Cougs went out there, won those championships. Just amazing. I watched both races. And yeah, just loved it. Very gutsy races. Very impressive. The BYU women, it was close until kind of the second half of the race became clear. The Cougars were leading it, and ultimately they hold on to that lead till the end. Some very impressive performances. I think I mentioned on Saturday, Lexi Halliday coming in number 13. I've learned, I believe it was number 11. So great performance by her. Great performance by the whole team. And then on the men's side, it was quite an interesting race to start. The first few Ks were pretty slow, so they jumped out to a pretty big lead early. Ultimately, though, it was close at the end between them and Iowa State, but they get the win. And so, yeah, huge win for the Cougs. 2 national championships, truly very special. And I think sometimes it's unfair, some of these Olympic sports don't get as much attention as, say, football or basketball, but still amazing things accomplished. And I don't know, I personally love this a lot as well because I'm a runner myself. Of course, nowhere near as fast as anyone on BYU cross country. But yeah, just amazing stuff. 2 national championships, and yeah, very exciting. BYU cross country has for a while been has been one of the best programs at BYU. So yeah, huge congratulations to them there. And so yeah, I guess that wraps up pretty much everything going over tonight. Either tomorrow night or the day after, Wednesday, be doing another road to the postseason analysis. And so yeah, I'll see you then. But yeah, go Cougs.